Hello and welcome to Team Liquid's strategy guide series for Aberrus the Shadowed Crucible, Dragonflight's new raid opening May 9th. I am Telegon, and today I'm going to break down the mechanics and strategy for Normal and Heroic the Forgotten Experiments. This fight has three unique bosses, Neldris, Thadrion, and Rionthus, which you fight sequentially. The following boss spawns once the previous boss has been defeated. Each boss shares the same tank mechanic called Infused Strikes, which applies a permanent debuff that may be cleared by touching another player afflicted by Infused Strikes. In this case, it will be your co-tank. This removes the debuff from both players, and causes raid damage in the form of an initial hit and dot that lasts 20 seconds and may stack. Now, let's break down the mechanics for each boss, starting with Neldris, who periodically casts Rending Charge, which targets 3 players, and after a short duration, the boss will charge between them, very similarly to Remornia in the Sire Denathrius encounter. Any players in the path of the charge, as well as players targeted by the ability, will be knocked back and gain a bleed. An easy way to deal with this mechanic is to have a triangle of markers designated for these players to go stand on. As long as the boss is positioned between 2 adjacent markers, it is impossible for players to be hit by multiple segments of the charge. This also makes it very easy for players who are not targeted by the mechanic to avoid being hit. Neldris also periodically casts a frontal cone ability called Massive Slam, as well as raid damage ability called Bellowing Roar that deals fall-off damage. You will want to gain some range from the boss when he casts that ability. When Neldris is defeated, Thadrion will spawn. The main mechanic of this phase is called Unstable Energy, which applies a magical dot to several players, which, upon removal, causes the debuff to jump to a nearby player, and on Heroic, spawns an add that pulses damage to all players. On Normal, it is likely best to allow the debuffs to expire naturally, with the understanding that the player will be taking more damage near the end of the debuff. When the debuff is about to expire, you'll want to move a short distance away from the raid to place the add. As you acquire more debuffs, you will place more adds, and simply drag the boss to the new add and cleave them down. It is important to note that on Normal, these debuffs will be removed after Thadrion is killed, and on Heroic they will persist into Rionthus' phase. The boss also channels Violent Eruption, which on Normal is a simple 8-second period of heavy raid damage. On Heroic, however, it changes how we will want to deal with the debuffs, by causing the adds that spawn from Unstable Energy to pulse heavy raid damage for the duration of the channel. As a result, we want to avoid having any active erratic remnants during this period. With multiple debuffs out, a simple solution for this is to have players with a debuff stack on a marker, Mass Dispel, syncing add spawns while stacking them so that they may be cleaved down before Violent Eruption is cast. The boss will also periodically cast Volatile Spew, which will litter the arena with swirlies that must be dodged. Once Thadrion is defeated, Rionthus will spawn. Rionthus periodically flies across the arena using Deep Breath. He can do so in 3 lanes, left, middle, or right. This is a deadly mechanic and must be avoided at all costs. Rionthus' Deep Breath ability has an interesting interaction with the second ability of this phase, called Temporal Anomaly, which you may have also heard of before. This mechanic manifests as golden balls that drift towards the boss. You have to play keep away with them. Should the ball connect with Rionthus, he gains a 10% max HP shield. You can manipulate these balls with your character model. By moving into them, they will move away from you. You will want to make sure that Rionthus doesn't connect with any of these balls while casting Deep Breath. It is reasonable to either diffuse the goaltending responsibility across your raid, or designate a goalkeeper to focus on it primarily. In this phase, the debuff from Thadrion persists on Heroic, and you will not want to have these adds present during Deep Breath. By mass dispelling and syncing up the debuff timers, you can ensure the adds spawn at a good time. Finally, the boss will periodically cast Disintegrate on several players, dealing damage to them and debuffing them with a dot that pulses in a small AoE for 16 seconds. Make sure to avoid other players if you are targeted. With that, we very much hope you found this guide useful. Please feel free to leave feedback or commentary below this video, and make sure to keep your eye on this channel as more guides will be coming out soon. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will catch you in the next one.